Okay, and welcome back. Pretty exciting here in the shed lately with these Trans Ams. I've been working on, of course, the Trophy Series one. That is the 1/16 scale one, and it is really exciting. And I'm having so much fun. I'm getting carried away. If you remember, I was working on the wheels on this one. That's it right there, by the way. That's the 1/16 scale one. And I was working on the wheels on that one, and I pulled out one of the wheels from this big 1/8 scale one, and that got me to pull the actual chassis out, and that got me to pull the actual car out. And the next thing you know, I have decided to go ahead and do the restoration on it, which is not going to be a complete, a very involved restoration. As you can see, it looks pretty good as it is, but I'll go over the different points that I'm going to be working on it, and the points that I'm not going to work on it. But look at the size of it. That looks like a 1/25th scale model, but that's the 1/16th scale. It is the engine in the 1/8 scale version is almost as big as that car. So, it is monstrous. I had forgotten how big this was. So far, all I have done is gotten the dust off of it. And I wish I could take this outside to film it in the sun, but it's a little windy, and that really kind of screws up the audio. So I am going to be doing it in here. I don't know where to start first, but that will be the next scene, and we'll move on from there. Okay, so I did decide to bring it outside. I wanted to show the big main... Now what, on the body, the big main thing that I cannot do is repaint it because of the decals. I'm never going to find another set of these decals. And they are sealed under the clear coat, so there's no hope of getting them off and putting them back on. So the body is really pretty much going to stay like it is. Except for a polish and good cleaning and a good polish. I can't do things. We have don't know if you can see it, but there is a hairline crack in the windshield, and that is going to stay there. There is a weird bulge here on the hood, the trunk right there. Not sure what I can do about that. And I think that is the mounting point for the interior tub. Just the glue got a little crazy, but we'll see. And we got this gigantic gap in between the rear fin and the back of the car, which is a mold. It's a fit issue, and it is a huge one. And I can't see. At the time, I couldn't see anything to do about it, and I still can't see what I can do about that. I don't think I can do anything about that. So, it seems crazy to, for the most part, not do anything in restoration to the body, but there are reasons for it, and I just wanted to go over that really quick. The interior I'm pretty happy with. I do have all the parts. I do have that shifter knob, and I'm fine with the way the interior came out. It is completely unpainted, so you have the color of the vinyl. The color of the plastic looks like vinyl. Even had gotten in there and painted around the letters and the shifter transmission settings there. And so, yeah, I just wanted to go over this real quick to explain why I will, for the most part, not do anything here. And the inside, I will, of course, clean that up quite a bit and touch up here and there and make that look better. And there will be some things where I pull off the parts and re-glue them because I had glued them onto the paint. So this was, like I said, I built this in 1988, and I didn't really have the skills. So I think I'm gonna have to pull all of these parts off the front and re-glue them because I think they're glued onto paint. And so on. So anyway, let's look at the chassis. That's where all the stuff's gonna happen. Okay, and so here's a look at all the parts that have fallen off of it, and I have to get them back on the right way. Now, a few years ago, not a few years ago, probably a decade ago, I had started a restoration on this, and I had started with all the number of parts that were chrome that weren't supposed to be chrome. Let me show you like an example here. The carburetor, you know, another one of those nice chrome carburetors. But there was a lot of parts on here that were chrome. The I think that the brake booster and the master cylinder were chrome, and the but yeah, all these parts were chrome here. This is the fan clutch, and the alternator was all completely chrome. And so I stripped them, and I was working on restoring them the correct way. Pretty proud of this alternator. See if I can show that. It of course was in two pieces, and this was an interesting thing. I had researched it. I had a good picture of what it was supposed to look like, and so there's supposed to be a seam there, but it's supposed to be a wider seam there. So what I had to do is glue it together properly and sand off the seam, and then scribe the seam deeper like that so that it would look correct. But great looking alternator. And you know, I'm going to look into possibly, so I have a bracket there, part of a bracket, see if I can mount that the correct way. And I had painted the master cylinder correctly, and as far as I can tell, let me show you something. Hold on a second. Here we go. So what I had done all those years ago is I researched parts to see exactly what they were supposed to look like, and so I did the search for the Pontiac and the 79 Pontiac parts, and I got a good picture of what they all are supposed to look like. And so that's why my, you know, like my see that? Looks like that, and so on. And I looked them all up so that I could have a rough idea. Like there's the fan clutch. I could tell that that was supposed to be aluminum, I think, and so that's why I painted it. It could be a little bit brighter. Maybe I'll even paint that with the chrome paint that looks like polished aluminum. And yeah, there's the master cylinder. And oh, here's something I just did on the turbo, the 1/16 turbo. I got a good look at the turbo. I'll explain that when I'm back on that kit. But yeah, that's where I was working there, and I think I double checked. I think I actually have all the parts, which is amazing. This many years out of afterwards. So there is this shaker, and I will be polishing all this stuff up as much as I can. You know, I don't want to go through because that would be a big problem. And so here is, I will probably pull all this off and do these weird looking rotors over again because it's looks terrible. Good news is they'll come apart easy because I glued right onto paint. But let me flip these wheels over so I can show you the difference. Okay, here we go. So if you remember, I had said that years ago I had painted it silver and it was nice and shiny, and then I sprayed a clear coat over it and it turned gray like that. And then just recently with the kit I'm working on, I did one of them the correct way, like I had just done all the wheels on the turbo, and much better. Looks pretty darn accurate, and I will be doing exactly the same treatment. I might even put another coat on this one to get it a little bit brighter, but I will redo them all. This is the way it used to look like. See that gray? Terrible. And you can even see there where 30 years ago I tried to start painting the the lettering, and I was painting with enamel. So 30 years later, I still don't think that's dry. I don't dare touch it. But I have the correct paint now, which is the water-based stuff. I can't remember the name of it. But let's move on to the engine and drivetrain. So I'm going to leave these valve covers because I kind of like the patina on them. That just looks good to me, but I will be pulling the carb off and stripping it and painting it correctly. I'll be reattaching that and trying to get some kind of a bracket on there. That's your AC compressor. And I will not be repainting the engine. It looks fine to me. But I might be wiring it. Oh boy. We'll see. Years ago I had hunted down the right wire and I had that in the box. So maybe I'll do that. Otherwise, let me flip this thing over. Okay, I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to pull the entire exhaust off and repaint it. Let me show you why. Get up really close. That is just not the right texture and not the right color at all. So that's got to come off. All of it has to come off. Right here I had, wow. Got to come off. Got to try to strip that and sand that. So there's going to be a lot of work here. Look at that. Look at the detail. Do you see the weld mark? Well, sorry. Look at the weld mark there. And yeah, I'll go with a couple different shades of silver on the exhaust here and get that all done properly. Also, I'm going to have to research to see if they undercoated the gas tanks or if they were steel color, and I'll do that properly. Along with the entire undercarriage, because it is gloss black, and that is supposed to be at the very least a semi-gloss. Maybe I will just spray it with a dull coat. Maybe I'll respray it with flat or semi-gloss, but it cannot remain glossy like that. So this is where all the work is going to happen, is on the bottom of the chassis, and that's where the bulk of it's going to happen. So yeah, this is, you can see this one actually has the decals on the center caps. But when I'm all done, the wheels are going to look a lot better. The undercarriage is going to look a lot better. That's a big sucker. And the body will be all polished. I don't see this being a long series. I see it probably being 2 or 3 more episodes, and then it will be all restored. And on a side note, if anybody's wondering why is this kit still out here, it's because I'm totally hooked. I'm working on these Firebirds now. This is priority number 1, of course, this turbo. And I will just be tinkering with this restoration at the same time. But this one is on deck. Look at that beauty. That will be the next project, but I am not going to open that box till all this is cleared, because there is not enough room. Anyway, stay tuned for more updates with the giant Trans Am, and I appreciate you watching.